Hi all, if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. My name is Amira and my channel is all about trying new makeup, talking about new makeup, but also finding new and exciting ways to be inspired by the makeup you already own. If that sounds good to you, I hope you consider subscribing, and if you enjoyed today's video, hitting the like button. Today, guys, we are going to be trying new makeup. I had asked you guys in my community tab at the end of April about a couple of brands that I was considering for a brand review video. And I'd mentioned 3 brands, and this is the one that won that poll, and that is Half Magic Beauty. So I placed a little Half Magic Beauty order. I didn't get everything, but I did get a nice little selection across the majority of categories. So I've got eye products, blush, lip product, all that good stuff. So I've started off with my foundation and concealer on, and my brows are done. So let's get into the review. All right, so we're gonna start with blush, and this is the box that it came in. Super cute. This is not a first impression, guys. I have tried pretty much all of these products because I wanted to sort of come to this review with some information about the products and not just like, oh, it looks pretty on, first time I try it on. I wanted to sort of have an idea of how they worked on my face. So the blush that I got, if you guys because you've been on my channel recently, you know that I'm kind of obsessed with purple blush, or trying to find a true purple blush. This one is the shade, what is this? This is called Only Drama, and this is what it looks like. And these are single pans. They come in these like cardboard compostable packages. Mine is falling apart now because I've been keeping it in there, but these are meant to be taken out and put into like, empty magnetic palettes. So this is what the blush looks like. It is very purple, right? It is very purple in the pan. I had high hopes for that. So this is a cream to powder. I am using an angled brush with this. This is a cute little rougher brush that I forgot I had, and I've been using it a lot lately and forgot how cute it is. So I'm using that, and I'm just going to go in. I will say that this is very, very pigmented. But the issue that I had with it immediately was that I felt like the blendability factor was left a lot to be desired. Like, I felt like it was taking me a while to blend it, and I was finding that it was kind of patchy on my skin. Today it feels okay going on. It's not like terrible, but I do feel like I want to blend this more, and I'm going to take I'm actually just going to take another brush. I'm going to take my Linda Hallberg brush, and I'm going to see if that'll help. That helped a little bit more because it's not as dense as this rougher brush. The reason why I was using this rougher brush is that I'm trying to build up that purple that I see in the pan. Oh, and I just stuck my nail into it. Lovely. The purple that I see in the pan. But as you can see, this actually looks it looks plummy on me. It doesn't really look purple in my opinion. I mean, it's a little bit of purple. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me zoom in. But this is after me blending it. I don't feel like I feel like it's patchy. And I've tried this with 3 different brushes now, and I still find that this is kind of as blended as I can get it. I haven't been using did I use a natural hair brush with this? Actually, I think I did. I've used natural hair and I've used synthetic, and I don't feel like I get the blend that I'm looking for. And the purple, this deep, rich purple that is in the pan, just kind of looks pinky, ready, bruisey on me. I get very much a bruised vibe, which I don't have I'm not super deep in skin tone, but I'm not so light that purples would go bruisey on me. Usually with purple, they read purple on me, but this is reading very not. So that's kind of a bummer. Yeah. I'm not in love with the blush. I'm tempted to try one of the other shades. I got the purple one because I've been so obsessed with purple, and I really wanted to see what that, I feel like that was a good measure of like the formula of how it works with such a deep, rich pigment. But I kind of wish I had gotten the Magic Brownie shade, the kind of brown tone, because I love those shades, and I feel like that one might actually be a little bit better because the pigment is more of a natural tone. This, I feel like it's almost it's like too pigmented, but not pigmented enough at the same time. Like too pigmented for blending, but also the pigment doesn't stay true once you blend it out. That's, if that makes sense. I feel like it does, but you let me know. So that is the blush on. And now we're going to get into eyes. And I did not prime my eyes. Oh no. Let me go grab my eye primer. All right, I am back and we are going to prime my eyes. I'm using my current primer of choice, which is the, it's the About Face Beauty Smoothing Shadow Fix. I use this pretty much every day if I'm wearing eye makeup. I really like it, which is funny because the first time I tried it, I didn't like it. And now I love it. Okay. So that's done. So I'm going to zoom you guys in a bit more so you can see. I'm also going to see if I can turn that up a bit. There we go. So it'll be a little bit brighter. All right. So I have two eye products. I bought the eyeshadow single in the shade Wet Pebble. And this is what the packaging looks like. And this is what the shade looks like. I mean, I had to get this. It is a deep shimmery taupe. I'm like, yes, sign me up. I've tried this. I like it. I like it. I will say that the texture, and you'll see once I apply it. So I'll show you guys once I apply it. And then I got the beautiful, this is actually really beautiful. This is the I think this is called, yeah, Chrome Addiction Eye Paint and Liner. And I got it in the shade ASMR, which is like a champagne glittery tone. So yes, we're going to play with these two and see what we get. So I have, like I said, I've used all of these before. And I'm kind of have an idea what I want to do to create a look. So let me show you guys what I mean. So this is actually quite, it's very creamy. Can you see how when I rub my brush in, it immediately creates like a dent? So it kind of has this almost like, it kind of feels like, the ColourPop, what do you call those? Super Shock shadows. It's been so long since I've used one of those. So I'm using this brush and I want to just, actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to put this all over the lid. I was going to do something else, but I have an idea. I've changed my mind just that quick. Bear with me. This is a work in progress. So I'm using this and I'm just going to apply this all over my lid. And one thing that I will say is, as creamy as this is, it doesn't pick up as well on a brush. It just doesn't. It kind of picks up flaky. And I'll show you what I mean. Like if you can see here, this is for me digging into it. And it just kind of comes off kind of flaky, which is fine. I would say that I think this probably, and you can kind of see there on the brush, was kind of flaky. I found that when I first used this, the first time I used this, it worked better when I applied it with my fingers. So if you're finding yourself struggling with this formulation, that is a great way to apply it. And it's kind of the same thing with the Super Shock shadows. I feel like the Super Shock shadows from ColourPop apply quite similarly. They work better with fingers than with a brush. Not saying you can't pick it up with a brush. I'm just saying that if you are looking for that instant like shine payoff and you are in a hurry, your finger's probably your best bet. So I'm putting this on and I am building it out. And this is a shimmery shadow, but I want to play with it like I would play with a matte. So that's what we're going to do. And that's what I did the first time I wore it. And I actually really liked that it has that ability. It's very malleable. I will say that I feel like Unlike the Super Shocks, you can actually do this. The Super Shock shadows have a little bit less body to them as far as pigment goes in order to do that. So to this eye, I love the tone of this. And the first time I wore this, like I said, I wore it with, I wore this on Mother's Day actually. And I wore it with the liner as like the Chrome Addiction as like a accent shade on my eye, and it looked amazing. Okay, so that is done. That is etched out, and I think it's so beautiful. And what I like about it is, do you see how it has dimension when you move? It's not a dual chrome or a multi-chrome or anything like that. It just has that sort of like malleability. It kind of reminds me a bit like the Super Shock in the sense of like the putty type, the wet type of formula, but the way that it blends out reminds me actually, and this is quite a statement of like the Chantecaille singles, and that the way you can blend it out because it has enough body to do that. Now we're going to take the Chromolux eye paint and liner now in ASMR, and I'm going to show you guys what this looks like on my hands in a mauve. So this is what this looks like. It's like this really beautiful champagne-y gold. It has a bit of base, but not a lot. And I feel like I want to take this and I want to use it and line the top part of the eye. So I will say the formula for this is quite, it's on the drier side for me. I don't feel like when I put the cap in and I swirl it around, I don't feel like I get a ton of product on it. And I'll show you guys what I mean. Like, I don't feel like, come on camera. I don't feel like there's a lot there. Let me do that. Maybe it'll focus. See, I just don't feel like there's a lot on the brush. And I'm going to use the brush itself because I'm lazy and I don't feel like using a liner. I brought a liner, but I was like, like a liner brush. I brought one over here, but I don't feel like it. I might regret that, but what can I say? I'm feeling like I just want to keep it simple and easy. And I will say that, I mean, like the aesthetic of this brand is very graphic and very like, you know, art supply, dig in, see what happens kind of vibes, which I think is cool. I get the same vibe from, for me personally, I get the same vibe from like About Face Beauty. But I think I like the aesthetic of About Face more than I do Half Magic. All right, I have a liner brush now. I was just being lazy, guys. I'm sorry. It's one of those days, you know? And the truth of the matter is I'm lazy about my makeup 90% of the time anyway, so this is an accurate representation. All right. I'm going to clean this up a bit by going back into Wet Pebble. I'm just going to go over a little bit. And this is kind of similar to what I did for Mother's Day. I took this ASMR shade and I used it in my inner corner. I used it at the top of my eye. And I used it like on my lower lash line. Okay. So now we're going to take it and put a little bit in the inner corner. I have fallout from Wet Pebble, so I'm going to clean that up. So my feeling about the Chrome Addiction, having used this twice, I'm having kind of the same issue that I had with it the first time, is that it dries really, really quickly. You don't get a lot on your brush and you have to work really, really quickly. Like I put some on my hand to do the liner with the liner brush. And this is what's dried on my hand before I was able to use it, like while I was putting it on the brush. So that aspect I'm not the biggest fan of because it's not like I'm moving in slow-mo, and I feel like you should have a little time to be able to manipulate, you know, and I don't feel like I do. So I've taken a little bit more on my brush here because I want this just to be a little more intense. And I literally just took the brush onto the doe foot and rubbed it, because putting it on the back of my hand is just, I feel like I'm wasting time doing that because it just doesn't, it just dries so quickly. So let me wipe off my face and get this wet pebble. As you can see, it's like fallout all right there. And then we'll get to the rest of the eye look. Okay guys, so now I want to use the gems. I was going to use Chrome Addiction on my lower lash line, but I'm like, maybe I should use the gems. I don't know. But yeah, I wasn't able, like, even when I went in with the brush, I wasn't able to get like a sharp line, and that's not usually an issue for me. Like, my skill set is of a level where I feel like I can do that fairly confidently. I mean, I'm not like an expert, you know, makeup artist, but I can do a sharp line. I can do a sharp line if I need to. But I don't feel like I was able to, because when I was going over it and then trying to refine it, it was already dry when I was going back over it. So it's not as even as I would like, because I couldn't, it was drying too fast for me to like refine it, if that makes sense. So here are the gems. These are really cute. These are the crystalline nude ones. I'm gonna open these bad boys up. I used to do gem looks on my Instagram. I used to love it. I just don't have the time or energy, frankly. I used to be really good at like Instagram makeup, but I just don't have the time or energy anymore, guys. So you get a decent amount here. But these are $12. And I think that is really overpriced. And I'll show you why in a moment. So I'm going to take one of the, actually I was going to take a small one. Let's take, hello? Let's try this again. Am I out of practice? I think I'm out of practice with the gems, guys. I picked one off the thingy and it just like disappeared on me. In this black hole that is this desk that I film at with all my makeup stuff in front of me. So I'll probably find it. It's here. I'm just not in the mood to look for it. So I'm going to take this off the packaging. Again, we're going to do part 2 of this if I can get it off. There we go. All right. So cute. All right. Put a little tiny one in the bottom there. Alright guys, I am back. I have applied all of the rhinestones, and I also did a little bit of the liner underneath and then added some added some rhinestones underneath along with mascara, and I like it a lot more now that the look has come together, which, you know, it's usually how it goes. I do like it. I'm going to try the lippy now, and I decided to get the, what are these called? These are called the Mouth Clouds, and I got the shade Magic Brownie. So Magic Brownie shows up in quite a few. It's like the collection has a lot of like corresponding shades, or you can do a, just wipe my lip mask off. You can do a monochromatic look if you are inclined to do so. The reason why I didn't get, like I said, the Magic Brownie blush is because I really wanted to try the purple. And this lipstick I have tried before. Like I said, I've tried all of this before, minus the rhinestones. And this is actually, I'm not a fan of like super moussey, like that whipped liquid lipstick. So I was a little concerned when I bought this, that I kind of went into it knowing that I wasn't going to love it, but I wanted to test it out anyway. But I will say, I still don't love that type of formula, but of the ones that I've tried, I do think this one is one of the better ones. It doesn't make my lips look super wrinkly. It's comfortable. The staying power is pretty decent. So yeah, this is Magic Brownie, which reads a bit, I would have preferred if it had dried down to like a deeper tone, but it's still really pretty. Like I don't hate it. But yes, I've tried this. I like it. I think it's pretty. I think the formula, for the type of formula that it is, considering that that is not my favorite type of formula, I was impressed with how it made my lips not look. Because again, like moussey formulas tend to, if you have wrinkly lips, and I do, I don't know if anyone else with wrinkly lips has this issue, where a lot of the times those like moussey formulas will kind of like settle in and just kind of give you like butthole lip. This doesn't give me butthole lip, and that is quite nice. And it has like a really, the finish is, it's not like a traditional liquid lipstick. It's not super matte. It's not super dry. It's soft. And I like the fact that they call it like mouth cloud, because that's very much how it feels. It's very soft and comfortable, doesn't dry down completely, so your lips don't feel dry, but I don't feel like this is going to migrate all over my face. So I actually think this is really nice. I hope they come up with more shades, because it's really the only shade that I personally was interested in. But yeah, I hope they come out with more shades. I think this is actually a pretty decent sort of soft, it's kind of a soft cream, or a soft matte mousse lipstick. It is, and I think it is called a cream. Hold on, let me find the box again. Yeah, so it's a soft matte lip cream, and I think that is the perfect way to describe it, because it's soft, it's matte, but and I still feel like it's pretty emollient. Maybe that's because I had a lip mask on, but even when I wore it the first time, I felt that way. So I just think that's the way the formula feels on the lips, and I think that's awesome. It feels very comfortable. So yeah, so let me zoom you guys out and we can talk about all of these. All right, so just to give you some detail, the brand was created by Donnie Davy, who is the head makeup artist for the show Euphoria. So when you know that, and then you have that context, the aesthetic of the brand makes a lot of sense. It's a lot of, I don't personally watch Euphoria, but Euphoria makeup was everywhere. You didn't have to watch the show to see it, but also it was very similar to what everyone was doing in the early aughts. For me, this brand and also the aesthetic of that show reminds me of like 2000, 2001 kind of aesthetic. So for me, it is quite familiar. As an elder millennial, I remember it well. But that just kind of gives you a context of the aesthetic. So everything is, it's very sort of, it's colorful, it's glittery, it's crystals, it's, you know, things that you can, it's very paint supply-esque in the way that the brand is sort of curated. There are other brands that do that I feel do it better. I think About Face Beauty has that paint supply aesthetic as well, but I feel like that brand is a bit more, it's a bit more fleshed out. It's an older brand. It's been around longer than Half Magic, so you know, who knows where Half Magic will go in the future. But I feel like that, for me personally, About Face has a better point of view, or a point of view that works more for my aesthetic than Half Magic does. After trying these products, there are things that I love. First off, this shadow Wet Pebble. This is going to become one of my go-to single shadows. I already know. Let me see if I can get the package open again. It wouldn't close, and now it won't open. So this is this here, and I'm going to eventually take this out. I was just keeping it in here so I could show you guys for the video, but this is going to just go into like a magnetic palette. But this shadow is so stunning. It reminds me so much of the formula reminds me so much of the Chantecaille single shadows, which I love, and that is that ability to, like, you can blend it out and then you can take it and build it up if you want that extra shimmer. Look, I mean, look how pretty that is. Look at that. You know, and you can get it to be like that, or you can soften it up and you can buff it out and blend it all over the lid. I will say it's not as it doesn't have as much depth as far as texture goes. So say the Chantecaille, you can buff it out and it feels like a satin, and then you can take your finger and then it gets more glittery. This one has a bit more body as far as the shimmer goes to it, so you're not going to lose a lot of that when you blend it out. It's still going to maintain that quality, which if you like that, that's great. I don't dislike it. I would say the shimmer is just like, I have to keep that in mind, that if I'm going to use that and I'm wearing just that shadow, that if I want to pull back on that, I'm going to have to pull in like maybe a matte as like a crease shade to just buff it out over to sort of pull back on some of that shimmer. But generally speaking, I've worn this shadow on its own and I absolutely loved it. The liner, the Chrome Addiction Eye Paint Liner, I don't love it. I don't love it. I love the tone, the color of it is beautiful, but I don't love this. And I think the reason for that is when I compare it to other like glittery liquid shadows, you know, the ones that you can get from Danessa Myricks, I just feel like those are better. I just feel like those are better. They're more malleable. This dries so quickly that I had a really hard time even getting to create the look that I had in my mind's eye. It worked well as a liner. I use it under my lower lash line and I actually think it does work better as a liner. So if you're doing like something like that, but if you're trying to, how do I put it? Like I was trying to use it as a liner here. It didn't work as well, but for some reason it worked really well. So I feel like if you're trying to just do a little something, it worked really well in my inner corner. If you're just trying to use it as an accent, I think this works well. But I think if you're trying to do more than that with this, you might have issues. Like I haven't applied this all over my lid yet, but I am of the mind that that would be difficult to do, because one thing that I did find when I was applying it along here is that as I was trying to sort of refine it and, you know, crisp it out a little bit, it was picking up on itself. So because it dries down so fast, I mean, this is what I applied to swatch and this is what I apply to my eye, and most of it, as you can see, is still in my hand because it dried so quickly. So that for me, this one is a bit of a miss. It's a miss for me. The shade is beautiful, but I'm not a fan of the formula. This is just a flat out miss for me, guys. I don't love the formula. And I said, maybe it's the shade. Maybe I need to go and pick out a different shade. I'm not really in the, like, I don't feel the need to spend the money again to try this formula again to see if I love it. Like I'm not curious enough with this shade with this formula to do that. So I probably won't be picking up another one, but I suspect, or I hope, that some of the more like the Magic Brownie shade might blend a little bit better, but I don't know for sure, and I'm not of the mindset to like purchase it just to see. So yeah, I think this is a miss. It's a miss for me. And I also will say this, and I didn't mention it when I was applying it, but I just remember now. First time I wore this, like I said, I had some patchiness issues, but also it faded on me, guys. It faded on me so quickly. By the halfway through my workday, it was gone. And I've been trying out a lot of liquid blushes, and there are some that last more than others, but I was figuring that a cream to powder would last better on my skin because they tend to last better on my skin than a liquid blush would. And this one actually performed worse than all of the liquid blushes that I've been testing out as of late. It just disappeared from my face. So don't love that. Don't love that. You know, I have a hard time blending it and getting it even, and then once it's on my face, it's not there for very long. So for me, again, that one is a miss as well. The soft matte, where is it? Here it is. The soft matte lip cream is, I think if you love this type of formula, this is a really nice iteration of that type of formula. I think it's, again, I've had this on now for about 10 minutes. I've been talking. It feels great on the lips. My lips don't look wrinkly and you know, butthole-esque. That's nice. So I think it's a really nice formulation. So this is for me, of the two, like of the products that I've purchased, these two for me are the ones that I think are worth giving a try. Now let's talk about these eye crystals, or face gems as they're called. These were $12. And I just feel like that is way overpriced for what it is. And the reason I say that is because I want to show you what I have in my little makeup supply area. This is what I have in my makeup supply area. These are face and eye gems in a bunch of different colors that I got for like $3. Now, I will say that the tone of this one I don't have here, but I'm sure I could, if I looked for like a nude crystal, I could find one fairly easily. This one I bought because it was a rainbow, and I was looking for that. I was looking for like bright tones. So these aren't the same as far as that goes, but I could find that if I looked. So I just feel like I have an issue with upcharging on something that's, one, very cheap to produce, and two, pretty easy to come by. I'm just like, nah. And I only bought this for the science, guys. I would have skipped the face gems, but I got them because I'm like, you know what? I'm reviewing the products. I'm going to get the face gems. They're pretty. They stick. I like them, but I like the ones that I got on Amazon for $3 as well. You know, and they do the same exact thing. There's no difference in quality. So yeah. Overall, for me, this brand is I kind of went into this kind of knowing how I was going to feel. I wanted to test it out. I was prepared to be open and be wowed. And having seen a lot of reviews from people that I'm friends with on Instagram and seeing other people try the brand who love it, I was curious enough to give it a go. And I wanted to give it a try for you guys if you have been curious about this brand. But I will say, trying this makeup recently has kind of solidified for me my own change in aesthetic to a certain extent. I would say my aesthetic hasn't completely changed, but I'm just not as into editorial makeup at the moment like I was, you know. And part of the reason is I don't have the time anymore, and I'm not posting makeup photos on Instagram anymore at the moment for two reasons. I love Instagram photos, and now it's all about reels, and I don't have the inclination or the energy for that. And also, I just don't have the time anymore, guys. I really don't. For me, it's between YouTube and Instagram when it comes to doing makeup, and I choose you guys. I choose YouTube. So I had to make a choice, and YouTube was the choice because I prefer long form content anyway. So my experimentation era has kind of fallen by the wayside, and I miss it a little bit. Yeah, especially when I see my friends who post amazing photos. I'm like, wow. And that may come back around. You know, we go through phases. Life is full of cycles, you know, and I'm sure at some point in my life things will come back around and I'll have the time and the energy and the desire to do all of that type of makeup, but I don't right now. I've been keeping things really simple, or even if I'm using bright colors or color, I've been keeping the look itself simple with color, which you can do. So yeah, for me, this brand is if I was going to grade it, I would give it a solid B. I'd say if this is your aesthetic, if this is your thing, it might be worth trying out. I will say that for the amount of items that I got, I spent almost $100, which for me personally, I feel is a bit expensive for the brand itself. Because for me, I feel like this brand seems like it's very much marketed to the Euphoria crowd. And if you look at the demographic of those people, they're of a certain age. And I feel like this is kind of on the high end for them. Like I think with tax, this came to like almost $90. That's a lot of money for what I don't consider to be like a high-end brand. You know what I mean? For a blush, a lipstick, 2 shadows, and some crystals. I think that's a bit much. So that's really I feel like the pricing is a little off, and I don't think I am the target demographic for this type of makeup. And that's fine. Like I said, that's fine. Like I said, I knew that kind of going in, but I wanted to let you guys know that for me, this is not, it's not it. It's just not it. Like, I like the makeup. I like my eyes, except this part was just driving me insane. but I'm not like amazed by it. And the thing that's really amazed me, like I said, I really like this shadow. Did I lose a gem? Oh, a gem fell off, guys. So they're not as sticky as you would think, because they're supposed to be pre-sticky, and that just fell off. So there you go. And with these, they're sticky, but I usually put like a tiny bit of lash glue, but I wanted to try those since they're supposed to be like pre-sticky. That I wanted to try them by themselves, and as you can see, this one didn't last the video, so there's that. $12, and it fell off my eyeball. The shadow, beautiful, beautiful, absolutely stunning, and worth the price. I think the shadow was, let me see how much that eyeshadow was. Okay, so the single shadows, guys, are only $12. I think that is probably the best steal on the website of the products that are offered. I think the shadow, specifically Wet Pebble, I haven't tried the other ones. There's one that's kind of like a greeny gold that is really beautiful, called, I think it's called Little Deranged, and it's kind of like a gold green, got gold green thing going on, which I'm just like, okay, that I would probably pick up. These I think are absolutely worth $12, but the blush is, I believe, like $24. So the blush is $20. Is it worth it? For the formulation, not for me. I don't think it is. There are other blush formulations that are about the same price or even cheaper that I would reach for before I would purchase another one of, you know, those. The Lip Cloud is $18. You know, I don't have it. I don't think that's terrible. So again, I think lipstick is worth it. Eyeshadow is worth it. The other items I think you can skip. And that is concluding my brand review of Half Magic. Let me know in the comments down below, guys, have you tried this brand? I know a lot of you were interested, you were curious in me trying it, but let me know if you've tried it. And if you have, what are products that you love and that you've had your eye on? If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to hit the like button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye now.